Here we are taking a look at Lesson 5, and again we're working with decimals and conversions between decimals and fractions. And one of the cool things is when you read them out loud, it really kind of deals with either place value or with that which goes in your denominator. The bottom number, D, denominator starts with D, and so does down. So that tells you it's the bottom side of your fraction. So in this case, what you're looking at is an example, 5 thousandths. So 5 is in the thousandths place in this case. This one, if we look at 35 thousandths, and this one's telling us every time we're just going to go for decimal numerals, 35 in the thousandths place. So the last digit of it, the 5, is going to be in the thousandths place. That means the 3 is going to be in front of it in the hundredths place, and that there's nothing in the tenths place. 9 and 235 thousandths. The and represents the combination of a whole number and a decimal number. And so we got to start with our whole number in the ones place, 9, and it says 235 thousandths. Here was 35 thousandths, so here is 235 thousandths, because the 5 is in the thousandths place. 800 and 5 thousandths. 800 comes before the word and. So 800 is your whole number, and 5 thousandths is what you have in your decimals. So there's nothing in the tenths place, nothing in the hundredths place, because there's only 5 in the thousandths place. Taking a look at fraction versions, we know that 8 thousandths is going to be really similar to this. It's just going to be 8 in the thousandths place. 28 thousandths is going to be very similar to 35 thousandths. It's just going to have 28, nothing in the tenths place, 28 in the thousandths place. This we also too know is a combination. 7 is a whole number, and 528 thousandths. This one, 300, is a whole number, and you've got 502 thousandths. Now if we were going to write these in words, we're going to do this. We're just going to do the opposite of that. This was 5 thousandths. This was 8 thousandths as a fraction. This was 8 thousandths as a decimal. So in order to make it as a word version, we're just going to have it very similar. Instead of 5 thousandths, it's going to be 8 thousandths. 8 thousandths. Now I'm going to skip over the middle one and go to the hard one. I know 607. 607. Looks like that. 607, just like I would say it out loud. Here's our and, because we're going from whole number to decimal number. And 409. 9 is in the thousandths place, so it's going to run kind of off the line here. Thousandths. We almost ran off the paper. 900 thousandths. 409 thousandths. So now write a number on a place value chart. Then write it as an expanded form using fractions or decimals to express the decimal place value units. First one's done for you. So let's see what we've got here. 27 is our whole number. 27 and 346. The 6 lands in the thousandths place. So 27 and 346 thousandths. And so here's how they did it in expanded form in 2 different ways. So when I give you your practice problems, I'm going to ask you to write a number in both these ways. So this is really expanded. This is this same number. This is way expanded. Look at how much ink that is. That's a lot. But it's going to kind of really go through and give you an opportunity to demonstrate that you know how to show what place values these numbers have. So 27, 2 is in the tens place. So we say 2 times 10 to say it's in the tens place. The 7 is in the ones place. So we can say 7 times 1 to show that, it's in the ones place. We know that 3 is in the tenths place. So just like we've been doing, we say 3 times a tenth. 4 is in the hundredths place. So to make it into the hundredths place, it's going to go into, if you divided it by 100, so we know 4 times 1, 1/100th. You can also look at it down here. Here's 4 times 1 100th to show it's going to land in that place value. Here's 6 times 1,000, 6 thousandths. Because when you're doing multiplication with fractions, if you have the 6 and you put it over a 1, it's still a 6 because it takes 1 to have a whole. You happen to have 6 of them, so 6 over 1 is a whole, times 1 over 1,000. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. So when you read that out loud, it's 6 1,000ths. You also know then that if you divide 6 by 1,000, it's going to lose 1, 2, 3 place values. So if it starts out in the ones place and it loses 3 place values, so if it was with a decimal here, it's going to lose 1, 2, 3 place values. So it's going to move to the tenths, to the hundredths, to the thousandths place. Because you're dividing it, 6 divided by 10 to the third is 1,000. Or you could say 6 divided by 1,000. Or you could say 6 divided by 1,000. And they all get you the same thing. So that's all expanded form is doing, is making it so that you're showing what place value does each one of these land in. So when they give you a number like this, you want to really think about what place value are each of those digits in. So let's take a look at the hardest one here. So we know in this case, we have 4 in the tens place. So that's going to be 4 times 10, 4 in the tens place. And then we're going to add to that, because 40 plus 9 gets us 49, and we know we have 9 is in the ones place. 9 times 1 is 9. And then we have, and we're adding it, 5 times 1/10 puts the 5 in the tenths place. Then we say plus, we've got a 6. We're going to say 6 times 1 100th, because 6 is sitting in the hundredths place. And then we have 4 in the thousandths place. So we're going to say we're adding to all of that, so we get this big number over here. We've got 4 times 1 1,000th. And that's how we can get there. Now if we're going to do it as a fraction, we know that these stay whole numbers. So that doesn't change. 4 in the tens place, 9 in the ones place, plus 5. Now we have to say 1/10 as 1/10. Now we're going to add to that our 6, which is going to go in the hundredths place. So times 1 100th. Now we have to add our 4. Our 4 is going to go in the thousandths place. So instead of saying 1 1,000th as a decimal, we're going to say 1 1,000th. So you see them exactly the same. It's just you end up with 2 different numbers. So this one's asking you to do the same thing. Just go the other direction. You know 9 times 100. It's going to be in the 900. 2 times 10, 2 in the tens place. It shows you nothing in the ones place. If there's nothing in the ones place, you know the number for nothing is a 0. All right. So here is your practice problems to bring to class tomorrow. Bring these answers with you. We'll check them over in class and see if you come with any questions. So in this one, I'm going to ask you to write 9 thousandths as a decimal. So 9 thousandths as a decimal. 29 thousandths as a fraction. What's that look like? I would like you to write this one out in words. 24 and 357 thousandths. And then you've got two expanded form equations, just like the ones that we did, where you take each one of these and you note its place value. So the 2 is going to be times something, plus a 4 times something, plus a 3 times something, plus a 5 times something, plus a 7 times something. And that something is either going to be in a fraction form. After you do your expanded notation that way, you're going to do another one with them all in the decimal form. So C actually has 2 parts to it. So here's what you've got for tomorrow. Please bring your answers for us to go over, and any questions that you've got, you can write on whatever piece of paper you want. Hit pause so you can copy these down, or just look at them and write down your thoughts. Thanks.